Tak. All right, so we will today just do a general session. From next week, we will look at solar plexus, just because I was traveling in the beginning of the week. If you have, I see you have your math in this direction, all good. You can push play on the playlist. It's the long meditation music playlist. You can shuffle it, so you're not listening to the same first hour, because there are 36 hours of music on that beautiful playlist. And then we've got our props ready. Let me see. Oh, I see the thing is tilted a little bit. Let me just squeeze that in. Yeah, it should be all good. All right, fabulous. So blocks, we will need a strap today. If you don't have a strap, like a yoga strap, you can use a belt or the belt from your bath or wardrobe or something like that. And let's just come into a seat first. Oh, it's good to be back in my own shower. Just feels very comfortable. And immediately come into a comfortable seat. Close our eyes. And sit still. The yin to the yang, the resting and recovering, the stillness, rather than doing, the being rather than doing. And when we think about yin and yang, because most of you have either practiced yin a lot and can compare the yin energy, the calm energy, with what is asked from us during the day, which is for us, most of us, quite busy and challenging. So that yin and yang energy we can probably translate quite easy for ourselves in our own lives. But can you also translate that to yourself? Do you have moments of yin activities? Do you have moments of yang activities? And then I'm not speaking about yoga, but more like, okay, yin would be I'm resting, I'm reading, I'm sitting still, I'm meditating, I'm having a cup of tea, I'm being in the moment. And other yang kinds of energy, which is, okay, I'm running around, I'm doing stuff, I have a do list, there's a drive, there's some energy. So let's use this time to kind of establish a relationship with that yin and that yang, what it means for our yoga practice, but what it also means for our life. Can we notice that sometimes we've been very much yang and that we need some more yin? And sometimes, and I feel that currently for myself a little bit, it's been such a quiet month with my retired parents that I almost struggle to get into that space of yang again, to kickstart that motor. Out of balance, yang, out of balance, too much doing is almost like there's no stop button. We don't manage to stop anymore. The wheel is turning so fast and we can't manage to stop it, to slow it down. While a very out of balance yin and extreme yin would almost be like, okay, I just can't kickstart. I feel demotivated, I feel drained, I am kind of slow, while, you know, both extremes are out of situation or out of balance. So we try to cultivate both. Let those words just linger and translate in your own mind while you sit still and start to pay some attention to your breath. You can breathe in through the nose, and out of the mouth. You can breathe in for around 4 to 6 counts. Out for around 6 to 8 counts. So your exhales can even be longer than your inhales. That slows down your central nervous system. Let's sit still for another around 6 to 8 rounds of breath. You can place your palms together in front of a heart, in front of your heart, a gesture of acknowledging the other beautiful yogis that are practicing with you at the same time. Even though we're not in the same building, we are breathing and moving together. If you have an intention or a dedication, this could be a beautiful moment. And then bow your head towards your fingertips. And today we are kind of going to move through the body from the feet up to the crown. So we'll start in toe seat. So you can come onto your toes, let your big toes touch. And I like to manually kind of create space between the toes, pull them apart. And then you can place the knees down towards the floor. Now for some people, this is very intense. It's stretching into the soles of the feet. So if you want to place a pillow or a block in between your buttocks and your heels, it becomes a little less intense. Leaning slightly forward also makes it less intense. The most intense variation is for us at this moment just to have your shoulders straight above your hips. And we will stay here for 2 minutes, which is quite long. So if it gets too intense, you know that there is a way to move out or make it less intense. And the breath can support your shape. Just reminding you of the 3 kind of elements of the yin practice, the E, the F, and the T. The edge. Well, in this shape, for most of us, the edge probably presents itself quite quickly. It's not a violent edge. Yes, it is an edge where we feel sensations, where we might be challenged and go like, oh, there is something going on. But we can always breathe, we can always smile. There is a sense of nurturing and a sense of kindness in that edge. The F for the non-fiddling, the stillness. We commit to stillness so that the fascia can stretch, the body can calm down, the mind can settle, and we can connect with the breath. Slow down your central nervous system by breathing deeply and slowly, by just being. In the T of time, allowing time to heal, allowing time to just pass, to let go of having to do anything and to just rest and recover. We are already halfway, which is good news. Feel the expansion of the ribs of the rib cage. Around 6 to 8 rounds of breath to go. Soften your jaw. Stay with the breath. Three more rounds of breath. Sigh is always welcome. Soften the shoulders. All right. It's often when we move out that you're like, oh wow, oh wow. So walk your fingers forward, lift up, and then you can just point your toes. You can wiggle your toes or you can clap your feet. Just bring some blood back in. Yes, I know. Oh, la, 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 la. If you feel it, you need it. And the counter pose for this pose is sitting on your heels with your toes pointed. So you can even remove some flesh from the sit bones, settle in. You can, of course, put a pillow in between your heels. And then we'll start our 2 minutes here. Let your palms just rest, shoulders relax. And then notice if you are creating a hollow back, or if you can maybe tuck your tailbone slightly, slight contraction of your abdominals. So you've got a nice long straight spine. Your shoulders stacked above your heels, above your hips. Lift the back of your head slightly. So the top row of teeth and the bottom row of teeth are parallel to the floor. And then once you're in position, breathe. I know and I feel that the edge of this shape is less intense. Interesting and fascinating to know that for some people this is more intense than the other shape we've just used. All depends on the shape of your feet, how you use your feet, what kind of shoes you wear, how your bone structure underneath your muscles and tendons and fascia is built. We are halfway. We'll stay still and we'll let time do its healing until the end of the 2 minutes. Four more rounds of breath here. Notice the movement. So there is still movement in the stillness. We are sitting still, but breath is moving in and out of our body. The prana, slight movement of the rib cage. The lungs fill up, the diaphragm moves. Maybe not visible from the outside, but there is movement. All right, let's slowly move out of the shape. Hands to the floor. Do whatever it feels nice, maybe some circles with your feet, some clapping or flapping with the feet on your mat. And then you can place your right foot to the top of the mat for a low lunge or an Anjaneyasana almost variation. Now, we know cat-cow, right? So cow is kind of hollowing the back and cat is rounding the back. You can use blocks for this variation because we're going to try to cat stretch our upper back. So we're not just leaning and staying, we're actually softly, for me it doesn't work with blocks because I've got more space, but for people that need a little bit more space, actually this works for me. See, we're just trying out the shape. And then, so if I feel without the rounding, yeah, there's some stretch going on. But then when I round, bring my chin to the chest, I feel it way stronger here on the front of the left hip flexor. And also there's some activation here in the groin. So try to, without going to like 100% vibe, let's call it an 8 out of 10. Let's try to bring our chin to the chest and kind of cat stretch our upper body. We will stay here for 3 minutes. Feel free to close your eyes and time starts now. A little bit harder to breathe because your neck on the front is a little bit restricted. Can you breathe space in between your shoulder blades? It's almost like if you would look at your, let's say you are lying on your back, and you're breathing into your belly, and your belly rises and falls. Can you now translate that rising and that falling to the space in between your shoulder blades, to the part of your upper back? So the upper back rises and falls with your breath. Stimulating your thyroid as well. Soften with each exhale. Notice where you feel what and stay with the breath. Shoulders can round up a little bit towards the ears, even though we normally really try to avoid that shape, just for the fact that we do that automatically a lot during the day, those shoulders rounding. But you can do that in this shape, consciously. Halfway, stay with your breath. You can always change your blocks, higher or lower. There's no better or worse. Something just feels better. Make sure you can breathe freely, which is a little bit more tricky here because of the constriction of the throat here. 1 more minute, till the end, we'll stay in stillness. Resist the blocks, resist the floor. Bring your chin to your chest. You've got 20 more seconds. Any thought, any emotion is welcome here on your mat. There's no judgment. Let it just pass through. Just observe and notice. Be curious, fascinate. All right, slowly move out. Hulala, and we'll come into a quick child's pose. Just letting those toes rest. Let your arms move to the front. Moving up the body, so this would be more hips. At the moment, we are still working more towards the legs. Such a safe shape. Such a grounding space. Take 3 more rounds of breath. Soften the shoulders and the neck. Soften the tongue inside your mouth. Soften the cheeks. A little bit of space between the top row and the bottom row of teeth. Let your breath be free, deep, slow, and supportive. Before we go to the other side, let's first come onto our backs with a block underneath you, but let's build it up nicely. So come and lie onto your back, and then you can choose. I like these big blocks of Manduka. I actually got mine back. I borrowed it to a client, and I got it back after like a year. I'm very happy to have it back. You can use the small blocks. You can use books, something that you can just put your hips upon. We are going to do a leg up, a roll here. Ooh, actually, you might need your straps as well. You might need your strap as well. So you can just see what feels nice. I don't mind having my legs up here. It feels quite relaxing, but I know that some people like it just doesn't work. So if you feel that it's hard for you to have your legs up, you might want to just help yourself a little bit, bend the knees so the legs can stay into place. And we'll stay here for 3 minutes as well. Set yourself up. I'm actually going to use my belt. Doesn't hurt. Just make sure that you can soften your shoulders. So you are slightly inverted. Your hips are higher than your heart. Your digestive system is a little bit tilted. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. And let the energy drain away from the feet, from the toes, through the ankles, through the calf muscles, the shins, the knees, the hamstrings, the quadriceps, all the way down to the hips towards the block. Let your chest rise and fall, but let the breathing be in all directions. It is easier to connect with the front line of the body when we breathe, but also feel the sides expand. And maybe even feel the top part of your back press softly into the mat when you breathe in. That full balloon, those two beautiful lungs of yours filling up slowly, slowly, slowly. And emptying just as slow or maybe even slower. Feel free to close your eyes. Soften your toes. 1 more minute. Notice any interesting sensations, maybe some tingling, sometimes shaking of the legs when there is some resistance, some tension that gets released. That's all right. Two more deep breaths in and out. Sighs can be very relieving. And then slowly bring your feet towards the floor. Notice how you're feeling. Just lie still and notice if there's any sharp, uncomfortable pain, because then I'd rather for you to stay here or for you to put the block a little bit lower. We are going to extend our legs. I want to just replace my block a little bit, and then you can even bring your arms overhead. Your feet can flop out to the side. So it's a full front line, and we'll do 2 minutes here. If this feels too intense, please just place your feet back where they came from in more of a bridge variation. Open the armpits, relax your shoulders. With every exhale, let your hips and your pelvis be heavy in your block. Let the body melt, let your muscles melt away from the bones. Let everything be soft and heavy. Notice what you feel with. Stay with the breath. Only half a minute to go. Soften your tummy, soften your buttocks, soften your toes, your knees, your hip joints. Slowly walk your feet back to where they came from. Take a moment just to feel the grounding of the soles of the feet into the floor. Then lift your hips so you can remove your block. And vertebra by vertebra, just let your spine and your hips touch the floor. And then just lie still. If it feels nice, you can bring the knees a little closer to each other. Two more rounds of breath here. Just a little bit of in-between poses, just a little rest. Then roll to a side, it doesn't really matter which side. And then sideways, you can softly move yourself away from the floor. And then we bring that left leg. I'll just face this side for a change. We'll move our left leg to the front of our mat. I use those two blocks. I'm going to move them, frame my foot with them. And then it's, if you have sensitive back knee, just fold your mat double. Or place a little pillow underneath it. All right, 3 minutes here, but we are going to cat stretch a little. So take a moment here to settle in. Notice how high you want the blocks. Maybe you need different heights on this side. Give your body some time. You know, I actually feel like, okay, I need to move my blocks a little. And then bring your chin into your chest. Open the back line, open the shoulder blade area. Very much rounding in the upper part of your back. Try to breathe. Try to breathe into the neck, into the place between your shoulder blades. Let the upper part of your back rise and fall on the in and the exhales. It might help you to count your breath. I'm quite a busy bee also in my mind. So I remember in the beginning, specifically in the beginning when I started practicing yoga, it would help me to count. Count 4 to 6 to get your inhales nice and long. 6 to 8 to get your exhales nice and deep and long. And it gives your mind something to do. Where is the sensation most intense? Do you also notice, I mean, your experience might be different from mine, but it's a little bit more difficult to breathe here, just because of the front of the throat being constricted. We've got 1 more minute in stillness. Round a little bit more, maybe if you can, for the last 20 seconds. Yeah, looking good. Very nice, yogis. Take 1 more deep breath into the nose. A lovely sigh out of the mouth. And then move out. Bring your left knee next to the right. Remove any props that are on your mat, and we lie onto our tummy. You can come to your elbows, create a little pillow with your hands, and just rest for a moment. Maybe shake your bum a couple of times. Feel that it's nice and comfortable, and then just relax and be still. And let's practice that belly breath. Let the belly softly press into the floor, the belly button. So you can bring direction to the breath. You can decide where you want to create most space. And when we bring the breath all the way down to our belly, it calms us down. It has an effect on your diaphragm. It even lowers your blood pressure if you do it regularly. Soften your buttocks, take 3 more rounds of breath here. Working up the body, we are almost at our hip level now. But let's first just do a little bit of a Sphinx pose while we are here. If you prefer to use a prop, you can use a block or even a bolster or a pillow. Just to give yourself some support on your ribcage, you may. You can also, these are all options. In yin, it's like trying on new clothes. You just try like, oh, does this fit? What works for me? We'll stay here for 2 minutes. You can also place something under your head to just give your neck and your shoulders a little bit of support and rest. Right, more height there. I like my neck to be aligned with the rest of the spine, or as much as possible. Yep, that's it. Let's actually start our 2 minutes now. When the chest is a little higher and away from the floor, it's a bit more intense. So if you feel it's too much, just walk your elbows a little bit forward and bring your chest closer to the floor. Soften your shoulders and your neck. Soften your jaw. Sometimes we hold on to tension in our jaw and we start to clench our teeth, so let there be some space. Let the bottom jaw just fall away, kind of hang. Stay with the breath. A little bit more than half a minute to go. Take one more deep breath in. And a sigh out. Remove the block. Remove your props. And then move yourself back to child's pose again. All the way to the back of your mat. Maybe you can feel a difference. Maybe it feels more spacious already. Let's take 5 to 6 rounds of breath here. Already working slightly into the hips here. Nice. Come to a tabletop. And then we'll move into our hips, but into a half pigeon. No, let's do 90-90. Because you guys also often do vinyasa. In vinyasa, we do very often we do that half pigeon. So I actually really like this 1990 variation, where your shin, your right shin, let's use the right leg in front. It's called 1990 because of the 90-degree angle created here in the right knee and in the left knee. So your right shin is parallel to the short edge of your mat. It's kind of 3 parallel lines. Short edge of your mat, front leg, it's your shin, back leg. I've got those nice stripes here on my hands. 1, 2, 3. Nicely stacked. We can do the same thing with the long edge of our mat. Long edge of your mat, right thigh, and left calf, lower part of the leg. Now we feel, I feel I'm falling against the wall. So you're probably also kind of feeling that you're going to, collapse towards the right. And that's where the scooping comes in. You're going to bring more meat underneath your sit bone, if that makes sense. So you're scooping up and under. So I like to just lift myself up and with my left hand, bring some meat under that sit bone. See if that works for you. And now you feel more stacked straight above. Ah, there's the cats and the dogs. Ah, and the view looks beautiful, Marley. And then you can stay on your fingertips, or you can come onto your hands. Some might already be able to go all the way down. We'll stay for 3 minutes. Use something for your head, a pillow. Make it comfortable. Make it kind, make it nurturing. Oh, there's something here, so I'm going to use it. Props are like toys for adults. Yoga props are like toys for adults. 3 minutes have started. I'll let you know when we're halfway, because you might decide to stay. You might decide to make it more intense by bringing your upper body lower, or you might also decide to move out a little and just bring your upper body a little bit higher. Closing the eyes can be wonderful. Your eyes have been busy, looking around, maybe even looking to a computer screen the whole day. So let those muscles, the muscles of the eyes, relax even though you're not sleeping. It's also easier to connect with the sensations when the eyes are closed. So I find it a little easier because the eyes just take in the information. It's their role to protect us from danger and from threats, our survival instinct. So let them close. You're safe. Just breathe. Slow down. Relax your toes. We are over halfway. We've got around a minute to go. So decide if you want to stay or if you want to change anything. Make that decision consciously. Why? Is it serving you? Are you still able to breathe slowly, soften in every exhale? Am I my favorite saying in this is less is more? It's not something we're used to. It's always more is better. Enough is enough. And sometimes, specifically also in yin, less is more. So you can really soften, the body can let go. Last couple rounds of breath here. So compared to a half pigeon, this is safer for your knee, and you're actually stretching into that hip from a slightly different angle. So it's a lovely variation. Okay, you might just have to pay attention here. Bring your arms back under, or your hands back under your shoulders so you can see. Your back leg is going to extend backwards, But your front leg is actually going to continue towards the left. So you might just have to fiddle a little bit. So now your leg is straight. And they're in an L shape. Yeah. If it's a little intense, the leg, the top leg, no, it's the bottom leg actually, the top compared to the top of the mat, but you can bring it a little bit down. Now we are going to try, you can even lift your hips a little by bringing pressure into the hands to face the front of the mat. So it's a big twist. We're working in our spine now. At the same time, still working on our hips. So see how this feels. And then you can come, ooh, before you go down, when we're halfway, you can add a thread the needle, working into the shoulders by bringing the left arm under. I find it very challenging. But that left arm, when we're halfway, can loop up and under, and then you can loop to the right. Let's start by just bringing our elbows down. We all have different bodies. So to you, this might come very easy. To me, it is quite challenging. Come on, little clock. Yeah. 3 minutes here. I'll let you know when we're halfway. Feel free to use a pillow. I'm actually going to stay here. I feel that when I stay up on my elbows, I can twist better. While when I go down, I kind of lose that twist. I don't know if it makes sense. Close your eyes. It is quite a big twist, a big stretch. Soften your toes, soften the jaw. Slow, deep breathing. One more minute. So if you want to add that thread the needle, you loop the left arm under the right arm and walk the right hand to the top of the mat and turn the nose towards the right side. Breathe into that left outer shoulder. You can even let the right elbow rest on the floor. Just see where you can relax most. Also tricky to breathe, huh? So slow down the breath. Maybe back up if you feel that it's really too restrictive for the breath. The breath is the priority here. Two more deep rounds of breath. And let's get out of this little pretzel. Oof. Hands back under the shoulders. And then you can find some space somewhere. We'll do the other side now, where you can sit in a wide-legged position. Maybe you have to turn, maybe you can, depending on the space you have. I know that some bodies are made in a way that it tilts like that. And you're like, I can't go anywhere, which is fine. But then in that case, it might help to actually put something under the buttock. So you can have a little bit of a tilt going on there. So we can stretch and create space. Just want to show you that option. If you feel you're very much rounded. Another option is to bend the knees a little. It's the back line. So as soon as we stretch the legs, the spine wants to round. If we bend the knees a little, there's more space for the spine to straighten. So just play with that. I'll face you because I've got the wall there. When in doubt, go a little bit higher with your blocks and your props. We'll stay here for 3 minutes as well. Coming forward, we have enough time. Having so much fun. What am I doing? Yeah, we'll have enough time. I'm just going to leave you in Shavasana. But we like that anyways, because you guys, some of you have lots of time. Marley will have a lovely sunset there. Oh, looks beautiful. All right, you're in place. Awesome. With your eyes closed, if they are closed, you know, you don't have to look at your toes, but can you soften them? Can you notice if they're still active? And then you just let them be floppy and soft. Notice the sensations where you feel what. Does the sensation change? Become bigger, smaller? Maybe move. Halfway, stay with the breath. Move the block forward or back according to what you feel you need. Create that space in the body. Let the breath be calm so the mind can also start to slow down a little. Bring some more clarity and serenity. Maybe think back of your intention, your dedication. Living and practicing with intention gives more purpose to your life, gives more direction to your actions and your thoughts and your conversations. Half a minute to go. And it's normal that with some yoga shapes, you're like, oh, I could be here forever. I'm loving this. And other ones are like, please, can I move on? It is normal. Just notice and observe. One more deep breath in. One more deep breath out. And then on the inhale, slowly in slow motion, come back up to a straight seated position. You can use your hands. Nice. Love all the animals. Yeah. Sometimes when I move out of a shape, it's like I feel 90 years old. Okay, we've got 2 more shapes to go, which is the 90-90 with your left leg to the front. Remember those lines, it's so nice to work with your mat as a reference. Short edge, front leg is the lower part that is parallel to the short edge. So it's 1 thigh, calf, short edge, long edge, left thigh, right calf, and lower part of the leg. The scooping, I really feel I'm going to fall towards the left here. So let's take our time. Just bring some meat under the sit bone. Oop, let me take my watch there. And then you can stay on your fingers, you can stay in your hands, you can come down to your elbows, maybe use something to support your head and relax your neck and shoulders. Soften the toes, connect with the breath. Notice the sounds around you, notice the sound of your breath. Notice the physical sensations in the body, the space created through the breath, with the breath. Maybe the taste in your mouth, the smells around you. I already know, well, it might also smell really nice in cylinder, but otherwise I think it will smell nicest in Nicole's shala, with all the vegetable oils floating around. Hey, Yuna. Hello. We are halfway. Feel free to lower the block or make it higher, or to create a pillow with your hands. Somewhere that serves you. Not because the mind thinks it's better, because it serves you, because it feels good, because you can breathe even better, even slower, and you can create more space in the body. Thirty seconds to go. Around 3 big cycles of breath. On the next inhale, slowly, slowly. Ooh, the one side might feel very different than the other. All right, we come. Yuna also wants to say hi. Hello. It's like a big fan of animal farm. All right, with all our animals. That's cute, hey? So our L shape. Right leg extends. Left leg is towards the left. See if you've got space. Otherwise, just flip yourself around to the other side of your mat or something, or move yourself a little bit. Good. And then our move is to try to move our shoulders back. My spine just went up. What a nice feeling. To the top of your mat. All right, and there we go. Remember, you can thread the needle at a later stage for the last minute. Come down, use your block. Yeah, I'm happy I'm home too. Yeah. Yes. Soften your toes again. I actually say that because I noticed mine were not relaxed. Mine were kind of like, okay, I'm staying active. So I noticed that. And then soften the knees. Notice the breath. Wonderful yogis. For our last minute, feel free to add on the thread the needle. You don't have to do anything in these classes. Do what feels good. Maybe notice if there is enough space on this side. If there's not, it's no problem. Just stay where you are. Last bit of stillness, last little bit of being here before moving to our Shavasana shape. Are you warm enough? Is your space quiet so you can rest, digest and process? Let go in your Shavasana. Couple more rounds of breath in this shape. We've got around half a minute here. All right, let's get out of the pretzel. And I asked you that question, if it's warm enough so you can make your space nice and comfy. A bolster is always nice. And then I'm going to hand over the timekeeping. So what I would recommend if I were you, if you have the option, is to set a timer for yourself on your phone or on your watch. 5 minutes. 4 or 5 minutes. So our time together here is finished in our yin practice. So, but you might have 10 minutes. So really take a Shavasana, maybe meditate a little bit afterwards, journal any insights or feelings that came up. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Marali. Thank you, Emma. Namaste. Enjoy your Shavasana. Lie down, relax. Set your timer, and I'll see you on Monday or next week. Bye, yogis. Namaste. Enjoy your weekend, Marali. Bye, Paul.